fun, not the flu. Get your flu shot, and if you're eligible, get a COVID booster. You can safely get both at the same time.
It's time for the Carl Nelson Show. Thank you so much for sharing your Monday
David Hankins for
afternoon with
AMWOL, where information is power.
Bro. I get it started a little bit early.
Happy New Year, family.
Please share this on your social media.
It will be much better for all of us. At 4 this afternoon, when Black politics expert Dr. James Taylor opens up our discussion. Dr. Taylor will look at the midterm election and the next presidential race. Dr. Taylor will handicap the candidates vying for the top spot if Joe Biden doesn't run. Now, Dr. Taylor will also talk about what the Democrats need to reinvigorate their base to remain competitive. But before we hear from Dr. Taylor, financial expert Bryan will provide some tips on how to get 2022 financial picture. Remember, all the shows are available on the podcast platform. So, for some informative conversations that you can participate in, please right here at 4 after the Reverend Al, because you know this is where the DMV talk, FM 95.9 and AM 1450 WOL.
I hope you hear that. Can you hear that? How's it going? Feel free to chat to me.
Finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes
See
in 8
that?
years. I owed the IRS a lot of money.
Happy New Year right back at you, Kenneth
We're
Quinn.
gonna take your house, put a lien on your bank account, but it's your pay. They don't care. They're gonna take your
I
paycheck.
see
Louie
you.
found out about Optima Tax Relief, the
I
leading
see you.
tax
Thank
resolution
you.
firm.
Please
A+
make
rated
sure
by the
you
Better Business
ask
Bureau.
any
They've resolved
questions,
over $1
any
billion
comments.
for their
Happy
clients.
New Year. Please share your goals for the year. Whatever you can share as
Louie
we
has a lot to be thankful
are about to start this time with sounds choppy. Probably because of me talking while
Tax help you
it's
can
talking.
trust. Call Optum now for a free consult. They can help you. Call 800-544-35, 800-569-4435. Optima Tax Relief. Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit
Talk about identifying financial goals, saving more, investing more.
And within 24 hours,
How about that emergency fund?
We found ourselves here at St. Jude.
Got lots to talk about.
They knew how they were going to treat out this elaborate plan.
We didn't know what the future was a future.
So many things
But with St.
moving in a positive direction.
Not that long ago, survival rate was 4%. 4%. But through the work
Moving
and
in
research,
a positive direction.
that's now 94%.
Apple becomes the first U.S. company to reach $3 trillion in market capitalization. Wow. Right.
1 minute. Learn more.
I'm Ellie the Mammoth, and my friend said the flaw knows what being a great parent is all about. I'm responsible, loving, nurturing. You don't have to be a perfect parent. Visit AdoptUsKids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt Us Kids, and the Ad Council.
WOL, Washington, D.C. W240DJ, Washington.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Make sure I drink my water. I can't hear him. Can you hear him?
No, they just cut out all of a sudden.
Okay. It's us. It's
No,
coming.
it just went away. Oh, that's weird.
Jesus, folks. So thank you for joining us. Happy New Year.
Wow.
Hey guys, you're cutting out on us. We can't hear you.
Here. Can you hear me, Jay?
And now it was in and
All
out
right.
there for a second. Good to hear your voice. Happy New Year, my friend.
You.
There
Well,
we
let me
go.
ask you this, JB.
Uh
How's
huh.
the weather where you are?
It's
Is it
a lot.
snowy?
It's a lot of snow. It's a lot of snow. I'm down
Wow.
in Richmond actually, but it's about the same. My DC office suite closed down. My Richmond office suite closed down. The we're experiencing about the same, about 5, 6, and it's still falling a little bit, but it's stopped in Virginia. But I in DC they're still getting downfall. So
Good. A lot of
yeah,
folks home, they can use some advice that you're going to provide before we do. Though, are you streaming on Facebook? So see you.
definitely streaming live on Facebook too. Got Carl with me together on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and 3 different pages on Facebook. So make sure you check out the Carl Nelson Show with me.
All right, cool. Jay, all right, start of the year.
Yes.
What are some of the things we need to be doing financially?
There's an amazing thing I wanted to share that Apple actually passed. So this is a record-breaking day, and I you to get off the air with me in the headline that Apple hit $3 trillion in market capitalization. That means investors, with all of the people investments in Apple, its value is over $3 trillion. And a lot of the growth, believe it or not, is from the little headsets. Everybody's doing AirPods. They said that most of their growth is in their wearable items. Amazing. So it's probably like the watches, but the AirPods are a huge hit, and they came out with another upgrade of the AirPods. And I have to admit, everybody in my house has a set or have had it by now because they're designed, I think, so that you have to buy another one, or but if you lose one, you have to get a whole new set. So it's definitely they're you love them, you either love them or hate them. I'm still stuck on, but I have had my AirPods, but I'm giving them to my daughter when she lost her pair. So, but they are Apple is very strong, and it's amazing. Apple, Tesla, both having a really good day. Market closed just 3 minutes ago. So you're going to see that on the news. What does that mean to us? It means that there's so much positive growth potential in the plain vanilla companies that you don't have to go through a whole and invest in companies that you don't understand, you don't know about, or concepts that are telling you that it's falling and it's the end of the world, which go after our community so aggressively. Think about it. Look at these easy investments you should be participating in that are right there for us, that are regulated and monitored by the Securities Exchange Commission. Don't overlook this. A key step for 2022. Don't overlook the obvious. And the obvious would be invest in where you spend your money. Stop investing things that may be important to down the road, or if the world ends, then I'll be the only one that knows about that. Okay, maybe that will happen, but I know for sure, where are you spending your money right now? Where's your income going? What are the companies that are taking most of your money? Do you own a piece of that rock? And that's the easiest way to do that typically is through your plan. So your work plan has these 10 different investment options for you, maybe even 6. In those work plans, do you know what companies those mutual funds that are in that plan have? If you don't, get yourself to an investment advisor like myself. Find a trusted investment advisor that's licensed. You maximize the financial opportunities are freely available to you at work. If you don't have a benefit plan, it is time for you to talk to your financial advisor about what can I do to set up my own individual retirement account. Very easy to do.
All right, because I was going to ask you about taxes. Is it too early to talk about taxes?
Oh, but it's never. I like to talk about taxes all year long, and I appreciate the opportunities that you've given. I think that we have been seriously consistent about discussing the time you and I have had a conversation. Taxes are to be are long-term duty for you. Taxes that you pay and you get paid. So every month, especially every paycheck, you're having a better understanding of how much money am I paying in taxes? How much am I paying in taxes? Am I withholding the risks? And those are the things that you can look at, especially this time of year. Last year is kind of too late for that. But if you get to where you're going to do your tax return and you get this big amount of money back, that means that you are withholding way too much during the year. So it's time to evaluate what you're paying off. So if you get $3,000 back on your taxes and you have a credit card bill with $4,000 on it, so you've been paying that interest on that credit card bill, but you could have been paying that credit card bill off with the money that you've been sending into that the government is now sending back to you with no interest on it. So we need to definitely understand that in this financial plan that includes getting a huge amount of money back in your tax return or a big tax refund is not the idea, because you're losing out on the opportunity for paying off and down your debt during the year. And it's costing you. Money that you get back at tax time should be maybe you sending in a couple $100. That's really where you want it to be.
Wow.
Now you've done it correctly.
Now, let me hold you right there, because that's interesting. Because a lot of our folks, their income tax return,
Yes.
they're doing the exact opposite.
Exactly.
So to reverse it, what should they do? How will they see that money? Is that money over the 12 months
True.
instead of one lump sum?
True. You're going to see. So if you're getting back $4,000, that's about $3,000 a month that you are losing because you're sending it into the government for them to hold for you, because you're saying to the government, I don't have enough discipline, so I need you to withhold this for me. And because of that, you're in many situations not paying things that be paid that month because you're sending the money off to the government that you don't even owe. But when you get the money back, you don't owe the money. So you don't it's not a saving strategy to send money to an entity that doesn't pay you interest for holding your money. And that's what the government does. The government is only withholding taxes on your because they're helping you not have to pay it all at the end of the year. So it's just a luxury. That's it. That they're really, helping your employer has to pay towards your taxes as well. So especially like with Social Security. So the government, the payments are to make things easier but they're not a saving financial plan strategy to overpay the government. We have to do better. And the best way to do that is what I do is I actually sit down with the Afroeconomics member over the tax return so that we're preparing a strategy throughout the year that will correct the errors here. And they go, well, and in reality, I must be honest, it is very talk people out of this. Because once you get accustomed to doing something, though it's not serving you, it's hard for you to stop doing it. But you have to empower yourself by saying, I'm only for 2022, I am going to do everything that I can to do things that are best for me financially. And just because that's the way it's always been done doesn't make it right. We have to find what is the right way. Not, oh, grandma always did it. Oh, dad always did it that way. No, make it right. It could be right, but it doesn't automatically make it right.
But JB, that's all right, because you got to somewhere explain to the audience why not getting that $4,000 or whatever it is you get back, and you getting money back, but you.
There we go. So when I couldn't hear him, you could hear him?
Just now, yeah.
Is reality
And then he just
radio.
went to a commercial on me.
The reality is that for far too long, there have been efforts to refocus our $1.3 billion annual spending power of the black consumer.
It's choppy out
For the
there.
past several decades,
It's choppy
there have
out
been
there.
5 black campaigns, but still only about 3% of that $1.3 billion circulates back community. So let's try it again. Each week we will identify 3 black-owned businesses on Tuesday and spend money with them for the week. And then on the next Tuesday, we will identify 3 more in our local community.
What do you
Businesses
think
for
it
this
is?
week are
Prosperous Hands Cleaning LLC, Prosperous Hands Cleaning Down, Haram B Books and
When I couldn't hear him.
HaramBeE.org,
Yeah.
Cameron Cafe,
might have said-
CameronCafe.com.
This is Reality Radio with Kathy Hughes. What's your reality? What's your reality? What's your
Let me see.
This report is sponsored by Bound.org.
Dear God,
Right now,
help us.
traffic is moving well on the outer loop of the Beltway,
Yes.
right between New Hampshire Avenue and Georgia Avenue. But traffic is also moving slow right
Sorry.
now on the
Doing
outer
this
loop of the Beltway. This is going to be right between the Wilson Bridge, moving all the way
Hope to
up
see you
to
more
Edge Road. We're also moving slow right now on DC 295. That's going to 295 northbound, right between the 11th Street Bridge and Pennsylvania. Traffic is also moving well on northbound 3rd Street Tunnel, right between D Street.
So
and
you went
11th.
to a
Traffic is not
commercial,
hemmed up
and then
in
that's
that
when I
area.
couldn't hear.
A girl dreams of becoming
Or
a
you
doctor, an elder in Guatemala dreams of becoming part of a community. Reach out and change your world, and it will change
Oh,
your world. Bound.org.
Yeah.
For News Talk
Oh,
14
man.
AM WOL, where information is power.
Wednesday at 10 a.m. 1450. Join the Marshall Heights Community Development Organization's Be Informed DMV radio program. Hosts is Farrar Tate and Beverly to Elizabeth Anderson of the Deputy Mayor's Office of Planning and Economic Development as she discusses great street grants and resources available to DC businesses. George Jones will also tell us about the newly opened medical clinic at Michelle Obama's Southeast Center of Bread for the City.
Earth Justice is a national legal nonprofit defending the planet and its people for nearly 50 years. Earth Justice has 150 full-time lawyers fighting in court for our planet and representing all clients free until people come before profit. All energy is clean, the wild is free, and justice stands for all. Earth Justice will never lose. Learn more at earthjustice.org. Earth Justice needs a good lawyer.
Listen Nelson Show on Alexa.
And thanks for staying with us, folks. I guess he's fine. My name is JB Bryan. Got a question. This is a lady you need to talk to. Again, the number is 800-450-876. Those of you online can also see it. JB, just tell folks again, how can they watch you? People could be asking me what you look like. Just help me out with that.
Go at JBBRYAN or hashtag Afroeconomic or hashtag Afroeconomics.live. Afroeconomics.live. They click and watch us live right now. Go to your social media platform, put in Afro Economics, put in JB Bryan, Carl Nelson Show. No excuses, y'all. We're live right now. And I thank you, Carl, for this opportunity. But before you take a caller, because you probably do, I want to remind you of something I saw this morning on social media, and I know that you will find this interesting. You know the brother Akon that was the rapper, but now he's like humanitarian and doing a lot of investments in Africa and everything. Akon,
Right.
So he says at an interview, I don't know who he was talking to, and he was saying, "I believe in the 10% rule," and I said that is interesting. So his 10% rule is if you have $1 million, your purchase, any purchase you make, should not exceed 10%. So if you want $100,000 car, people get all the time, they should have at least $1 million in there already. If you want $100,000 purchase, so if you wanted to, get a 500 house, it can only represent 10%. So you have to have $5 million already in order to have $1 million house. Now, of course, we're way out of order with that in our country because we have programmed to buy things that we cannot afford to live and die to a financial system that's just charging you money for your entire life for everything that you're trying to purchase. And so, but it was interesting that he gave us kind of a and to hear someone of success say, even though I can, I'm not. And see, like in the US, so many superstars, Michael Jackson, Whitney, dying without substantial real wealth because of these things and financing things and not ending that. I think that 10% rule, especially for all of us, not just people in Hollywood, but for all of us, just because you can buy something doesn't mean that you have to buy. Just because the bank will loan you the money, it doesn't mean that you and your spouse can afford it. But we do it anyway. But I think that started saying, or set up whatever rule. Maybe it's not going to be 10% rule. Maybe it's going to be 20% rule. It's going to be 50%. That anything you purchase, it can't be more than 50%. You're still going to do better than what we can do now in society. You can go into debt, $300,000 house with $3,000 down and have nothing, all your money going into the down payment for the house under the existing government programs and things that we have. So we really need to be careful on what is our financial position, what our own financial philosophy for family, and uniquely accepting that as truth, because everyone else does these other things doesn't mean that you have to participate.
Well, let me jump in here because you've got a section of our community, all communities, that think YOLO, you only live once, and
that's right.
Why don't save anything because somebody else is going to get it. You might as well spend it and then go out, like you said, like the we talked about, go out broke. That's some people think like that. What do you say to those folks?
That indeed, I think that that's going to happen for them. But then I only speak to the people who want to leave a footprint. And that doesn't have to be a lot of money. It doesn't have to be people that have a lot of money. But I only want to speak to the person who wants to leave something positive on this planet. Because to just come and take and go means that your whole life was really insignificant. Even if what you leave is own financial philosophy, that your next generation is going to be better for it. If you say, well, the reason that I didn't do blah, 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 and you explain to them, because I didn't want you to have debt, at least upon your death, that they're not going to struggle and worry about trying to pay for it you could not afford. And then they're trying to pay for it because you've got them accustomed to a certain life that was fictitious. I think that if we just inherited reality, it's so much better. If a person says, I don't really care about the next generation, saying they don't really care about themselves either. And correctly, because when you really care about yourself and you know that your Black life matters, you want to do well. You want to do well. You want the entire planet to be better because of your existence, even if it's just that this particular corner. You know, you'll see people who are homeless, but they do not want you to drop trash on their particular corner of that block. That's they take responsibility for that. They may not have anything else, but they take responsibility for what they have. So I think for 2022, I'm glad that you brought that up. A healthy for us to find peace is to avoid unnecessary debts, avoid trying to keep up with an image, avoid all of the materialism that will put you into a stress level that is not going to be able to be maintained over the long term and have a healthy life, because your health and your wealth are so connected. And if you your wealth through full and selfish activity, it leads to a shorter life and an untimely death in many situations. So wealth can be created from a healthy lifestyle. And ultimately, you're going to own whatever you have. I mean, isn't it better to die with $10,000 worth of stuff that you actually own than to die with $1 million and own nothing?
Yeah. When you put it that way. But hold on a second. We got some folks wanted to 800-450-7876. Ben to us. He's in Long Beach, California. He's on line 3. Ben, you're on with
Yeah, JB, out here we consider you to be our financial guru sister.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you.
But I heard a revolutionary statement from one of the financial guru brothers on Nelson's show.
Beautiful.
I thought it was pretty revolutionary, and I wanted you to comment upon that statement. I had never heard it before, but I do. I live by it now. And that was a few weeks ago, and the financial guru brother said this: "It doesn't make sense, CNTS, and it doesn't make sense, SENSE." I'd like you to comment upon that. I know we always listen to you because you are a true financial guru sister.
Amen.
Thank you very much.
Amen. I mean, there are actually some things that make sense, ENSE. They make sense thing to do, but they don't really lead to quick sense. You know, so sometimes if we're just thinking about profit, then we'll say, well, if it's then it makes sense. You know, some things that make sense, CENTS, isn't always of good sense. So I couldn't say all the time. I would have to finish that with my favorite saying, it depends. Because something makes sense. All money ain't good money. Put it like that. That would be my saying. The all money is money, and we can make some sense, but it needs sense. You know, so some sense, but if it makes sense, it can make sense, but is it really the thing to do? And is it sustainable? You know, is it what is best for us? So it depends. But some things that make sense make no sense, and we do it anyway. And I can appreciate that that's what the brother is talking about. Don't do things that don't make sense. But sometimes the story is presented to you so convincingly that they go, doesn't that make sense? Well, the person who told you the story and created the story is telling you that it makes sense. Like, I mean, if you tell somebody and they go, oh, well, you should buy this because you can finance it. You can do this, and you really can't afford it. But hey, get it out later. That makes sense. Does it really? Does it really?
You know what? We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
How to finance it, how to pay for it, that sort of thing.
They made it.
Coming up short.
That's right.
Yeah.
You can't write my story and then accept me to accept the story too. And that happens a lot. And then the next thing you go around and you're like, what in the world? So what thing needs to, when you're doing something based on something making sense, make sure that the information your logic based on has full disclosure.
All right.
Full
Hold that thought right
disclosure.
there. We got to take a short. Got some more people want to talk to you. 800-457-7876. Start the year off right. Get on a financial good foot with Sister J.B. Bryan. We'll take your calls next on FM 0.9 and AM 1450 WOL, where information is power.
Woo!
JB, do you have water in there? Do you need any water?
It's I'm in my cool raspy today. I don't know.
You got it. I can hear a little raspiness. You got water in there?
Yeah. Michael told me yesterday. It was like, you need to stop talking. I don't know. That time of year.
Imagine
Yeah.
organizing possibilities with Flow.
I sound like I was
Keeping it all
partying though.
together comes with projects for clear
That's
storage
like
starting at
in New
$238.
York.
And I designed plus a screw storage bin
No.
starting at $12.98. Clean up your closet with the closet kit starting at $19.98. Find it all.
I danced for like 30 minutes.
Lowe's.com. Lowe's, home to any possibility.
How you doing, Mr. Johnson? Financial freedom is more important than things.
Want to get out of that
That's
dead-end
right.
job, but don't think you have time.
Akon, that's right. He knows good
Complete the
discipline.
My Computer Career evening in 30 weeks, almost 30% shorter. You can start your new life as an IT pro in months, not years. More than just this, My Computer Career helps you get in the industry by working with employers that have hired our students. Go to mycomputercareer.edu. Take the free career evaluation
Build an
today.
emergency fund.
It's not rocket science. Computercareer.edu.
My part-time
Retire
service in the
debt.
Army National Guard possible for me to be more for the community I call home. I'm a
Check your
better
credit
neighbor
score.
because my service has taught me how important it is to be a team player. My training helps me in my classes when I give attention to
Adequate
detail to the
insurance.
task at hand. My service also allows me to be there for
Weeda
my
didn't call
community
in yet.
in ways others
She
can't.
must be on
I help my
vacation.
hometown recover after nature strikes. My service in the Army National Guard allows me to keep my country
Bless
and those I
you,
care about
Bishop
safe
Lee.
from threats.
Thank
I
you.
also work with a network of professionals that help me succeed.
Thank
Also,
you.
the Army National Guard's education benefits make getting a higher
God is
education a
good.
reality. Being an Army National Guard makes living
Amen.
and serving in my community more rewarding every day. Learn more about how you too can live and serve
Here we go.
part-time close to home by visiting nationalguard.com.
Sponsored by the D.C. Army National Guard. Aired by the
keep
Maryland,
encouraging
D.C.
each other.
Delaware Broadcasters Association at this station.
Encourage one another.
Call Nelson Show now on our free mobile app.
And thanks for rolling with us, folks. Our guest is Financial J.B. Bryan from Afroeconomics. You'd like to speak to her, 800-450-7876. Want to start the right, get your finances together, and then, mid-year or later down the year, you find that you could have made these changes already, and then, you've lost some time. This is why JB is here. As I mentioned, some folks are holding for us, so let's go another call, 800-450-7876. Weeda's reaching out to us. Weeda's on line 2, calling from Georgia. Weeda, you're on JB.
Yes, good afternoon. Happy New Year to both of you. And
I
thanks
just said,
for taking my call.
Weeda, I just said, where is Weeda today? What's going on?
Here she is. Okay, so JB, the last time you and I talked, we talked about treasury bills, bonds, notes.
Okay.
And you made mention of I-bonds. Did a little bit of research because that was really new to me. And so I've learned quite a bit about bonds. My question is, the Treasury will allow you to buy up $10,000 annually in I-bonds. You can also purchase an additional $5,000 towards the buying of a group of I-bonds up to $5,000 with money from taxation. My question to you is, how will the Treasury know the different $5,000 additional that I'm going to spend buying the bond versus $5,000 that I could just take from my pocket may not be necessarily taxation money or money I've, have gotten from my taxes from last calendar.
They don't care. They just need it. So they go, you can only get this amount. That's all. But if you are audited, it could become an issue. But they just don't care, but they limit it, because if not, people be doing like $1 million, $2 million. They want to make it so it's available to the average American, which you are extraordinary, but but they don't care. It could become a problem, if you were somehow trying to exploit it, but they just have to set limits. It's definitely in the system, and their computers are and the things that they've been able to catch lately, obviously, in the area with the PPs and stuff like that, you still keep, I mean, those computers are amazing. So if the person is lying, they're lying to the wrong person. Don't play with the IRS. Play somewhere else. The government is no joke. It's all in there. So,
Thanks,
All right,
Rita.
you've answered.
great,
Thank you.
great.
JB, let me ask you this. Start of the year, so we're trying to encourage people to save money. Percentage of their salary should they save a month?
At least 10%. But that's an old-fashioned rule of thumb, 10%. But I think that our goal should be at least 20. And if you work somewhere and you work like you don't have your own business, you should be saving, in my opinion, at least half of what you make. Because when you own your own business, you're putting almost everything back into your company. So you're automatically doing that. You're building up something for yourself. But when you work for someone, all you're going to get is that they tell you, if in most companies don't have a pension, then they might give you a match. Say they match, let's just be aggressive. Say they match the first 10% there. So they watch the first 10, put in 10%, they give you 10%. You're still only saving 10% of your, and so you need to save at least half. And I know that sounds crazy, but people do it. If you can save, if you can live off half you make, if you work somewhere, because you know exactly what you're going to make. People that own their own business, we don't know. We're not in control of what revenue we're going to get projected, but projection, if you have that job, what you're going to make, what to accumulate and what bills, what you can do with X amount of money. So I would say a good goal for every family should be to save half of what you're making. It would be amazing for a year from now for someone to call in and tell me that they did it.
Where should they put this money? Should it just be in a savings account? Should it be on bed? Where?
It's going to be in a couple of different places, because like maybe 20 is going to end up being at work so that we can get that match at work. Then the other money we may have to put it in a brokerage account and then get it invested in growing. And then the other portion of the money may need to be staying available in market, or it might be in like one of the index bonds. So that, like Rita was talking about, so it'll be available to you, but you're getting a little bit higher interest rate than just a savings account. So we just, we're going to have to be smart about it.
Yeah, that sounds a lot of sophisticated stuff. And most people, JB, on the real side, they get their check and they figure out their expenses. And a lot of people live in check to check, paycheck to check, but you say at least 10% saved.
That's right.
If that's the case for the folks who live in, who are on a margin, they probably can't do all those things that you talked about. What do they do?
You can. Like if they throw economics and they told me like I can't do that. Like I would say like you can. I mean, we pretty much can do anything that we want to do. Just choose not to do it. If you choose to spend more than what you make, you end up with a credit card balance. That's where they come from. People that are spending more than what they actually bring in income end up with debt. You buy things that you really can't afford, you end up with loans. That's just, I mean, it's just become like the lifestyle, but at the same time, we can unlifestyle it. You know, if you want me to like, if anybody ever wanted me to tell them that they could not be extraordinary, I couldn't give in to. I'd go like, you're choosing not to, but you can do it. When you see women raise 5 kids by themselves and all of the kids get clothes and stuff like that, like, thing is possible. How'd she do that? I mean, wow, the reason that she did it is because they had to go without some things. She didn't buy a $500 a month car. So the woman that doesn't have the 5 kids, she might $700 car payment. The woman that has the 5 kids, she might have an old car, a used car, or she's catching the bus with her kids. But you can do whatever we have to adjust and get it done. And she got her kids taken care of. And she ends up saving much money as the other person who doesn't have the kids. So we can do it. It's just what we choose to do with our money.
Right. Let me jump in here because you know inflation is hitting us. They're not getting paid to cover that extra money that they have to put out at the grocery store or for gas and the whole 9 yards. So for people who are shopping, should they go to Sam's Club or Costco and buy in bulk? Would that offset?
I hate places like that. Don't you hate it? I hate places like that. Oh my God. I don't think that we should have to pay to go somewhere to shop. Stand it. I think it's like that. I think like you could go to a major store like Walmart, Amazon. Amazon even takes e-cards. Like you can go on Amazon and price shop way more effective than you could going through stores or there's no way. There is no way, even if I were on getting that I would be going into like plus it's like, you know, I mean, my goodness, need all that. When money is tight, why would I be storing up stuff? I don't get it. I think that's for rich people. You know, rich people, they feel good.
Higher next month. So you know, this as far as inflation is concerned, the price is going to be much higher next month. Now at this price, that's the psychology behind it. So what are your thoughts about that?
I guess so. Like but I still would do it on Amazon or Walmart or something. I wouldn't pay, you know, $150 for it. But I think that we just start convincing ourselves that, okay, well, I'll get my gas there. But my thing is, if I've got to go drive somewhere inconvenient to get my gas to save a little bit, well, I've wasted money. Unless I live the next door to the Costco, but other than that, it would have to be extremely convenient for it to outprice a base while I was going to get my gas. I don't know.
But and you know, JP, most of us, many of our folks live in desert areas where there are no, you know, major outlets to purchase food or anything else for that matter. So they have to travel quite a distance. Sometimes use the bus, the train to pick up items that they need to survive. What do you say to those folks? What's best for them?
Order it. Order it. Order it online, and then that way you control exactly how much you spend. If it's wrong, you can return it, and they will give you your money back immediately and give you time to get it back. If you do it the other way and you get the wrong thing or they do something wrong, and then what? You got to get it all the way back to them to get your money back. Like, so if you order it, then you're going to, I mean, I just don't see, I can't be, I'm like really pushing this point, but I never really thought about it because Carl, you're pushing me on this. Like, but I do feel that ordering online is a better financial move. If you're tight on your money, they will deliver even groceries, even using your food stamp card right to your door.
Yeah, it's news for me about the food stamp. I didn't know you could use a food stamp card at Amazon. That's interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that nationally or is it just in your state?
I believe it's
Well,
a
hold that thought
national.
right there,
It's a
JB. We got
national.
to take a quick
Okay.
break, and
I will
I'll let
check.
you respond to that on the other side.
Okay.
Also, we want to talk about interest rates again and housing buying and refinancing. Folks, you got a question about finances? It's a lady you need to talk to. Her name is JB Bryan. Reach out to us at 800-7876. Your call's next on FM 90 AM 1450 WOL, where information is power.
Celebrate Black History
Wow.
365 days a year.
It's
Let's salute
national.
past and present leaders and role models for African Americans as well as all Americans.
It's
This
nice.
message courtesy of Kalina Home Healthcare, LLC, located at 4400 Stamp Road, number 406A in Temple Hill.
Snoopy
They're
D's
caring
like
for our
that.
senior and disabled residents and celebrating their one-year
Exactly. I
anniversary
don't
in
know.
January. To become a
I'm just
member
not
of the
paying
winning
to
nursing
go
team,
buy
call
some.
202-903-7147. Mrs. Day and the
So
staff say
good.
growing up to be graceful and with
I
dignity.
know. I'm not sure.
It's sponsored by DuckDuckGo.
What's up?
Protect your privacy for free with
I know
DuckDuckGo.
Carl's like, what is
Tired
wrong
of
with her
being
voice?
tracked online? DuckDuckGo can help. They can help millions of people like you take control of their personal information online. DuckDuckGo, private
But
simplified.
I did
Still
this
dealing
before.
with the traffic on
I don't know if it
95,
was a couple of
north
years
and
ago.
southbound.
And it was
Northbound,
my
we have
voice
the
was
disabled
almost
tractor
gone.
trailer right as
Like
you approach
gone.
Courthouse Road. Traffic is also jammed up
Allergies, I
on
think.
95 right after 123. We have a disabled tractor trailer out there. Traffic is getting by on the left side and right now closed due to an accident.
Never owned a Sam's or BJ's card. Me neither.
The brakes right around Dumfries. Hanging with
BJ's.
traffic on live 99.3.
I had a Costco before. What's it
The
called?
Alzheimer's
Price
Association
Club, but it's
and the
called
Ad Council
Costco
present
now.
the
Yeah,
story of
I had
Ed.
that.
My mother was always very active and independent, and
Hold
she
the
was
line.
familiar with her neighborhood. But one day, out of the blue,
Amen.
she stopped at the stop sign for
10%.
much longer than
Save
usual.
that 10%.
And
That's
she
right.
didn't know whether
Dear
to go
Mr.
forward
Johnson.
or turn. Or just
I got that
stay at the
answer.
front.
T, I got
She wasn't
the
even
answer.
really sure where she was at. She was very
You
concerned.
need a star.
very unsettled.
I got your message. We're gonna take care of you.
For you to talk to someone about
Yeah,
it. So
Chelsea couldn't get in today, but we'll get you rescheduled.
After my son told me, Mom, I don't want you to worry or be afraid. I'll be there for you, and we'll
Oh,
figure it out.
When something feels different, Myron, now is the time to talk. Visit alg.org/ourstories and more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Being in the Army National Guard is about more than serving your country. It's about being there for your community when you need you most. The Army National Guard makes college affordable, and serving part-time can help you
Stop.
graduate debt-free. You want to
Can
stay
you get
close to
enough of
friends
your
and family?
love,
The
babe?
Guard allows you to serve close to home. Serving part-time in
My
the Army
darling.
National Guard lets you have the life you want. Learn more by
Can you
visiting
get enough?
nationalguard.com.
To me, I sound like Barry White.
Maryland Army National Guard, aired by the Maryland, D.C., Delaware Broadcasters Association and this station.
Oh man,
Show, now
I
available on
gotta tell
iTunes.
y'all.
Staying with us, folks. Our guest is financial expert JB Bryan. You got a question about finances? You want to increase your pocketbook? Reach out to us. 800-450-7876. So we'll let you speak to JB. Before we do that, though, let me remind you, some other folks are going to be stopping by this week. Later today, we're going to meet with Black politics expert Dr. James Taylor. A lot of interesting stuff moving alongside with Dr. Taylor. And also later this week, you're going to hear from history professor Dr. Gerald Horn. And this is where we move into the international scene with the Russians and Chinese are teaming up. It's about that. Also, Dr. Jeff mentioned he's going to talk about Antonio Brown's meltdown against the Jets on Sunday. Some people are really tearing into the brother. But Dr. Jeff has a different, so he's going to share that with us. Also, mystery man Mark from Anaheim will be here as well. So if you're in the DMV, keep it right here on FM 95.9 and AM 1450 WOL. So, JB, about interest rates they're probably going to move because I don't think they can go any lower. Is this a good time to refi? Is this a good time to purchase a house? The housing prices are off the chain. Do you see them going lower?
Be careful. It's just a good time to be very careful. Now, I mean, we're at historic lows for mortgage interest rates, but if you purchase your house for the wrong price, then you kind of messed up the whole point. Great interest rate. The purchase price is where you really make or lose your money. So if you pay too much for the house, you whole goal. So be very careful not to get it with the interest rate, with the purchase and with the refinance. The refinancing and the interest rates and I keep seeing this one over and over because I always ask members to let me see the paperwork. So in the paperwork, they'll sneak in there so that they can make the rate look real great. And they're paying, like say $10,000 in equity, get the deal done. Now, that's, unnecessary use of your equity and dollars. That'll take a $10,000 fee. That'll take about at $100 savings a month. Just say your bill's going down $100. That's going to take you about 10 years to pay for that. You don't want those types. You want it if it's going down $500 a month, then that would cut that. I mean, that would change it a lot in the time to recoup that equity that you're using. But when they say you're not coming to the table with any money, be careful because you're still using in most cases. It's just you're using your home equity and you don't realize it. That is the worst. So as when the caller that called in and said, when it makes sense, it makes sense. That's a case where no, because it's saving you money, it doesn't make sense. There, because the person will get excited, oh, my payment's going, and it's not costing me any money. That's true. It's costing you a considerable amount of your equity. And you're just not bringing any money to the table. You're using your money. So I'm glad that you brought that up. Everybody be careful. Be careful.
So the key, watch out for those who they tell you don't have to put money in. You
That's
should
right.
put some money in.
No, you don't want to have to still spending your money when you're spending your equity. You need to know how much is it costing me? How much I'm spending $6,000 of my equity, but how long will it take for me to recoup that $6,000? And you want that to be around 2 years, not 10 or 5 years for you to have to get, to really get out ahead because your payment is only going down by a few dollars every month. But that happens sometimes, often, because people want to take their equity and do what? Pay off credit cards. So here, taking your home ownership that and paying off non-collateralized debt. So now you've put your home, you've given an advantage because now a credit card, they're not going to cut it and take the clothes and the shoes back. But when you attach that to your house, they'll take your home and make that payment.
All right. Got some more folks on to talk to JB. 800-457-7876 on line 3. James is calling us. He's in Washington, D.C. James, Happy New Year. You're on with JB Bryan.
Happy New Year to both of you.
Hi, thank you, James. Thank you.
Okay, here's my situation. I just paid my house off in November.
Okay.
And I'm retired. When I got the house, I got it under $185,000, and now it's worth close to $1 million. And I want to pull some of the equity out to expand some improvements and do some things. What do you think?
So, how did you pay it off?
Rich.
Oh, so you just ran out of payments.
I ran out of payments.
Oh, okay. Now you own it. And now you want to make home improvements.
Yeah.
The best way to do that is indeed to use the home. So you're right on point with that. Definitely. That's the best way.
So how should he do it? I think he's asking, should he take out a line of credit or should he take out a second mortgage?
I was thinking about refinancing.
Yes, you definitely. The best way would be to refinance for the amount that you need, only for the amount that you need, though, my brother. That would be the best move. Yeah.
Believe it or not, I've been listening to you since November, July.
Beautiful.
I knew it was coming.
Beautiful.
And I'm
great.
only what I need.
Amen. So good. That's
And,
so good.
and they were trying to convince me to go, longer years.
I know.
only want a 10-year.
Good. Good. You're in control. Control.
Let me jump in and ask you a question for both of you guys. And is it better to pay off the mortgage and better to have a tiny mortgage, maybe $100 a month or something like that to pay?
Well, I think it was great that he paid it over time. But if he had, say, a retirement and he's thinking about, I want to pay off 100,000 left, it's too expensive in most cases for him to take it out of the retirement account and pay off the house because that's a taxable event. So that's why I was asking, like, how did you pay it off? What happened? I wanted to see kind of where his mindset was. That's the way you want it to be done. And most people really, if they didn't refi half the way through every 10 years, their house would be paid off too. But now we have people in their 80s with big mortgage balances because they've been refinancing the whole time. So
my goal really is to, because I'm in an area that's in Washington that's very prominent.
Nice.
And like I said, I got the house, my wife and I, for really under 150.
Beautiful.
And now it's worth $1 million. And what I'd like to do, I've talked to my son and daughter regarding what I would like to see. But then as they get older, they may see something else, although they understand
that's right.
The necessity of owning property.
That's right.
How they can make more money.
That's right. That's right.
But could you repeat your number again? Because I like to call you offline to ask you a couple questions.
Sure. 1-844 JBBRYAN. That's 1-844-22-7926.
Okay, thank you. And I really find your advice to be informative.
Oh, that's fine.
Talking about this is great.
Oh, well, keep on going, my brother. You inspire me. Keep doing it. Your wife and you have done a great job. Your kids are blessed to have parents on point.
Gone through school, so
that's so good. That's so good.
And
that's
James, tell them don't sell. Whatever they do, don't sell.
Oh, they already know that.
That's so good.
Right.
That's
great.
cool.
There are too many folks in the DMV that they're selling. When they see that money and they see how much money they have, and they're selling out. Right. And then can't afford to live anywhere else. So expensive.
So true. So true.
We got some more people want to talk to you.
Great.
Thanks, James. 450-7876. Go to Houston. Jimmy's waiting for us on line 2. Jimmy, you're on with JB Bryan.
Hey, happy New Year's, Carl and JB Bryan.
How you doing, Jimmy? Good. Good.
Oh, Bryan and JB.
I don't know you, but I know you from Carl's show, indeed.
There you go.
I don't know you. I don't know you like Weeder, but I know you like Jimmy from the federal government.
Yeah. There you go. Hey, I got 2 questions.
Yes.
With this Cash App, Zillow, Apple Pay, and all that, is they plan on trying to get rid of that? People, running their business, they trying to get money under the table and all that stuff. With the banks being upset about that. That's one question. But my other question is, what's the steps and what's your opinion towards living off of dividends in the stock market? What would be your steps if a person is interested in, towards living off of dividends?
Yeah.
And what the percentage and what which one would you recommend, like mutual funds or ETFs and all that stuff?
That's right. That's right.
Zillow. What's your thoughts?
Oh, I know what you're referring to. Like, is digitization a go with the Cash App and the Zillow and all of that? That banks love it. You can't do any of those without the bank. Really, it really helps them. So, and a bank is connected to all of them. I mean, you think about it. Look at it. So you can't do or success and have one without having a bank connected to it. So all it is just a movement towards the digitization of our commerce system. It's a beautiful, and the government is able to keep up with your money so much better by Cash App than they can with you transferring cash from one person to another. It is the hardest thing for the government to keep up with. digitization is the biggest thing. So the government doesn't dislike it; it loves it. It loves it, and this for reinvesting, that's basically what all investors do. Um, we're taking money, and even like with you with the TSP at the federal government, your money is invested into the mutual funds that are there as options, and those mutual funds are companies, and in the that are in the funds, when they pay out the dividends, they are reinvested into that fund. If you choose and you leave and you want this portfolio and you transfer it out, but I certainly help people at the federal government maximize the opportunities of the funds that are there. But if they choose when they leave that they want to set up an IRA, we do that, and we choose investments that we're reinvesting the dividends. And sometimes say, I don't want to reinvest the money. I just want to live off of the dividends that are made. But often,
I got a question for Jimmy, because we're racing the clock. Because Jimmy, I think the last time you called, previously you said that you had a 854. You still have that 850?
Yeah, I actually. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I actually do. It's actually 849 now. I don't know why they robbed me of that 1 point, but it's 849. Yeah.
Well, I want to ask JB. Is that, you think folks should one of their New Year's resolutions just to improve their credit scores?
It depends on what their goal is.
Hold that thought right there.
Okay.
JB, we got to take a short break. We're closing on the top of the hour, so some of our stations need to identify themselves down the line. Stations like FM 95.9 and AM 1450, WL, where information is power.
Let the One VIP Visa debit card make getting yours simple and easy. It's free to get and no
2
credit
minutes.
check. And direct deposit and get your
You
refund
funny
back
weirdo.
faster than waiting for a check in the mail. Hassle-free and easy, just like it should be. Go to onevip.com and get your card today. The One VIP Visa prepaid card is issued by Stride Bank N.A., member FDIC, pursuant to a license from Visa USA, Inc. Use of the One VIP card is subject to terms and conditions.
Eric was way behind on his taxes.
I owed a lot of money to the IRS, almost $15,000.
No. Code red.
The tax got involved, the calls would stop, the threats would stop. It was easy like
New Year's blessings.
Tax Relief took
Thank
Eric's
you.
problem.
You're a
and all my
powerful
debt is
twat.
clean. I don't owe anything.
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-569-4435.
Y'all joking on my Barry White.
Optima Tax Relief.
Thank you, twat. Thank you
We're best known for the mustache. Well, here's the thing.
at least
Men's
making
health
me a
deserves
girl.
support year-round, which is why we're more than a month, more than mustaches. All year round, we're doing more. Doing more research, more treatments, doing more to help men live happier, healthier, longer lives.
Make sure y'all
So we need
continue
your
to
support.
listen.
What we can do, the more fathers, brothers, partners, sons we can protect. November,
Code
more
red.
than a month. Learn more
That's
at
Paula's name, y'all. Code red.
WOL, Washington,
Code
D.C. W240 DJ, Washington. 95.9. WMMJ, HD3, Bethesda. WKYS, HD3, Washington. WPRS, HD Waldorf, and worldwide at WOLDCnews.com.
The views and opinions of the following show do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of News Talk 1450 W Radio 1 Incorporated or their management.
The Carl Nelson Show on 1450 and 95.9. Worldwide at WOLDCnews.com.
Thanks for staying with us, folks. Momentarily, we're going to hear from politics expert Dr. James Taylor. He's a political scientist, teaches at the University of San Francisco. I'm talking to Dr. Taylor. But right now, let's finish up with JB. I wonder if Jimmy in Houston is still with us, because he's the man with the almost perfect credit, 850 score. Right. I remember he asked you a question signing for families.
Oh, you remember that? Okay.
Yeah, I remember that conversation. Hey, not too many folks I know have got 850 credit score now. That's excellent. So my question is, should that, you think people who are listening now should figure out a way to improve their credit scores? That would be a good New Year's resolution.
Well, a good credit score is great because it does help with like your insurance premiums, even for like life premiums, your car insurance premiums are connected to your credit score, but they don't have to be 800s and plus, because in order to really get into the 800 area, it really means having a lot of different types of debt for a long period of time. So I have strong credit for 700, be over 730. And that is if you're trying to acquire things and purchase things via debt. But most people who don't have a lot of debt are not going to have high credit scores because they don't owe a lot of people. So if you do have that goal of want to have a lot of debt, you have to realize that you're not going to have a high score. But if you don't want to have a lot of debt, then you don't have to worry about a high score either. You just need to make sure that you're paying everybody on time if you do get it, and that you're doing the right thing with the credit that you do accumulate. Because if you do not do the right thing and you don't have a lot of credit, then you're going to mess up that score very quickly. But so I guess my thing there is you have to think about what is your goal. If your goal is to go and approach people and buy things on credit, then yeah, scores need to be your emphasis. If your goal is I don't want to be in debt, then the score is not as important as the strategy to get rid of the debt.
Gotcha. Jimmy, you still with us? I think he hung up.
Right, she's crazy.
Right. Dr. Taylor's waiting for us. So JB, how can folks reach you?
Thank you for the opportunity, and reach me at afroeconomics.com, jbbryan.com, on any social media platform, Afroeconomics or JB Bryan. I thank you for the opportunity, Carl. I hope that 2022 is your best year yet, ever.
Well, let's hope for all of us that 2022 be a good year, or the best year for all of us. Thank you, JB.
Yes, we'll be right here with you. Right. Thank you.
Yes, that's our financial JB Bryan. Now let's turn our Black politics expert. His name is Dr. James Taylor. Happy New Year, Dr. Taylor.
Happy 2022, Carl.
Yes, sir. Do you think it's going to be one for the Democrats?